Want to make sure that we cover this dude's
Daughter
email here.
advice?
Seeking daughter advice. This
He
is
doesn't-
something that we don't normally get.
Let's not mention his name or anything. Okay.
No, it's
All right.
fine. Now, gentlemen, thank you for reading this and for all that you do for the men of the world. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. I share your content with my male coworkers frequently. I'm looking for advice to give to my daughter. I've been red-pilled for a few years now, and I know exactly what advice I'll be giving my sons when they grow up. But there's a considerable lack of advice for women. Specifically, there are two parts to my question. First is regarding a career. My 16-year-old daughter is at the point where she's being pressured to decide what to do for a living. Obviously, the education system is really pushing college, and I'm strongly pushing back. She doesn't really have any aspirations, and I know from experience that going to college without a definitive goal just leads to more debt
Yes.
than going with one.
Correct.
A lot of kids are just going for the experience, and we all know what kind of experience that is.
All right. Now, what you should probably suggest is when she gets out of high school.
Well, there's a lot more here. I don't know
know.
if you want to read it before
Okay.
you get into suggestions. A lot of kids are going just for the experience and realize too late how crushing that debt is.
Yes.
I've shown her a lot of the stuff that Mike Rowe puts out about the trades, but she says she isn't interested. She suffers from anxiety like so many of her generation, and she's not self-motivated. I'll give you one tip for that. Remove social media from her life. The anxiety will dissipate within 90 days.
Yep.
Guaranteed. I've told her there's no rush to move out of our house because I'd rather support her a few extra years while she figures things out than have her jump into college without being certain and take useless classes and rack up debt like I did 20 years
Well,
ago.
2/3 of all the classes you take now are just bullshit.
They are complete bullshit.
You don't need them.
So any career suggestions that you can give him? That's the first question.
First thing is you're going to have to get her exposed to the way the real world works.
Mm-hmm.
Like have her become a waitress and, have to like do all of that menial like backbreaking crap. And because I was the same way when I got done with high school and I went in the Army. And I remember I was in Ranger School, Florida phase. I weighed like 138 pounds, concentration camp victim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that college is sounding pretty good right about now. So I decided to go to college for administration. And, luckily I didn't get hosed too bad on student debt, a little bit towards the end, but I paid it off with the proceeds from punching people in the mush.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, and that also helped light a fire under her ass too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because nobody's going to figure out what their career is from their first job. That's why you do some jobs, But waiting tables is actually one of the best things that I ever did because it really teaches you patience. It teaches you how to read people's body language. There's a lot of skills that you can learn
The
from
most
waiting
important
tables.
one is how to navigate assholes.
Exactly. And you can learn a lot of that working retail as well. So you can always tell who didn't work retail or food service when you go out and you hear some of these motherfuckers complain.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Go walk a mile, and not even that. Walk a quarter of a mile in that person's shoes just once and see how well you do.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bar back. I worked at a restaurant in Southfield called Croissants.
Croissants. Croissant.
Yeah. And, like, the bar back job, that one really sucked.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So that is our 2 cents on that one. Next, he says, is the relationship aspect.
The penis question.
Everything seems to revolve around don't be a whore, and I've certainly passed on that message. She's shown no interest in boys or dating, which I've thus far taken as a good thing. However, since TikTok became a place for post-wall single women to vent, my eyes are open to the reality of the modern Western woman. Mm-hmm. Ooh, excuse me. That Guinness. I'm in an uncomfortable position of telling her she's about to enter her most valuable years in the eyes of men. How do I tell her she needs to spend her next 10 years on a mission to find a secure equality man, likely one older than her, and start cranking out babies when she proudly declares she doesn't want to ever get married? She likely won't believe me since her mother is her closest point of reference. My wife of 17 years is a homemaker raising 3 kids. While our marriage isn't great, she's passed up on going back to work and ending the marriage over and over again. She knows she has it good, but she complains so much my kids all probably think she's miserable. Telling my daughter to follow in my wife's footsteps sounds like bad advice to someone without real-world experience. I'm lost and running out of time to set her on the right path.
All right, well, I don't want to give you the advice that she'll figure it out on her own, but you need to be able to convey to her the importance of the Whisker biscuit, not to hand it out to Joe shit the rag bag.
Biscuit?
Yeah. Listen, you don't want to. Don't be handing out free samples to the Whisker biscuit to Joe shit the rag bag.
That's too fucking funny, man. Whisker biscuit.
I'm serious. I mean, here's another thing: is you probably show her some videos of what happens to like these women who do OnlyFans or porn. What happens down the road? They
made whole feature-length documentaries called After Porn Ends.
Yeah, and listen, she's got to keep that body count as low as she possibly can if she wants to succeed in today's day and age.
Because dudes have wised up, and just because it's normal now for women to have a double-digit body count doesn't mean it's what we're looking for.
No, it's not. I mean, 5.1 men out of 1,000 are getting married now.
Yep.
And I just feel sorry for the quadriplegic they have to roll in there to. I'm sure it's against his will. That 0.1.
Yep. These dudes are walking away from the plate, and we all know where that leaves these ladies. Express train ticket.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop!
And not a single fuck was given that day.
Yeah. Listen, okay, and then giving advice to on daughters, I don't know if I'm the guy for you.
Yeah,
because it didn't really work out with me. So I did the best I could, fell on my face. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
As a dude in today's day and age, trying to raise daughters, it is really, really difficult to encourage somebody, with a mantra of personal responsibility when they're being inundated and indoctrinated every single day with nothing is ever your fault. It's all men's fault. You shouldn't have to take responsibility for anything that you do. Go out and be a whore. You shouldn't be judged for it. Well, yeah, shouldn't be and will be are two very different things.
Yep.
And all the blame and shame in the world is not going to turn off our hardwired biological programming. We are disgusted by women with triple-digit body counts, pure and simple.
And another thing they don't teach the youth of today, marriage is great for about 2 years until the feels dry up, which they almost always do, and then it's a goddamn job.
Even the best marriages, because I think I have a good one, they are work.
Yeah.
Always.
You gotta,
You're not going to agree on everything. You're going to have to discuss some shit, talk some things out. You're going to have fights.
You're going to live in a house with somebody that smells, shits in the toilet, does stupid stuff.
Yeah, you've really made it when they're shitting with the door open and you just get to walk into that invisible wall.
And listen, women have an overactive, SMS system.
Yep.
Shit maintenance system.
As long as they wipe front to back.
No, I'm talking like she has her place, you have your place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you come together, and then there's double the amount of shit. And slowly but surely, your stuff will disappear.
Yep.
And new things will appear. I can't tell you how many times I'd be like, hey, honey, where's that Ranger shirt I had? Oh, I had a hole in it. I threw it out. Like, what?
That was a lucky hole.
God damn it! Son of a bitch! I hate that. And listen, it's just the way it is. Your shit's going to disappear, and it gets really frustrating.
Dudes will hang on to shit until it literally falls apart.
And most dudes, say you get tools. He'll have a thing of tools. He'll go to where he keeps the tools. And they're like, hey, what you do with those tools? They're over there in the tool area. Most guys aren't going to
it is what it is.
get super organized unless they have OCD or something.
Yeah.
And if it's really bad, I'm going to have to assess you a homo suspicion point.
Yeah, there's always that.
You're kind of thinking like a chick. I'm just saying. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion. Don't kill a messenger. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. I mean, like married dudes, myself included, we all get homo suspicion points assessed simply because there are certain things that will only exist in the homes of gay men, women, and married men.
Correct.
Like throw pillows.
Or knick-knack, paddywhack. You got to buy it to give your wife the bone.
Yeah. Or throw blankets.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't
like
have
that.
throw blankets. I have sleeping bags.
Luckily, I don't have the wife who wants like the seashell soaps that are for the fancy
God.
soaps for guests on the back. My mom used to have that shit, and I'm like, I just want to wash my hands.
Don't use that soap. That's
Don't use that. That's for guests. Like the guests don't use it.
Yeah, I never touched that soap because I remember fighting that battle with my grandmother. I used like the fancy soap, and she comes in.
Yeah.
She's like, Terry,
Well, now the ridges are gone.
you can't use that soap. What?
Why?
Isn't it soap? I mean, you wash it. No,
It's self-cleaning.
you don't use that soap. There's a bar of soap under the sink you have to use. Like, why don't you just put that soap on?
What?
I just couldn't understand
You
it.
want to wash my hands with the same soap that you used to wash your ass crack? No thanks, Grandma. I'm going to use the fancy soaps.
But it's your
I'm
grandma.
a guest.
Yeah, it's your grandma, so you're not like going to get into a heated argument with
Yeah.
her. You're just like, yes, ma'am.
I guess I'm not a fancy enough guest to use the little seashell soap. Yeah, the fuck, Grandma.
Oh, dude, I could do a whole comedy video on grandmas.
Yeah. You get a mess with them, especially when you're a kid. You stay the night over there. And then you always run the risk of seeing your grandparents naked. It's like the most terrifying, shocking thing in the world
That's
to a
some
tiny
nightmare
kid.
fuel, yep.
And then it's like, all right, look, I will refrain from using the soaps if you can refrain from doing your calisthenics with the door open, Grandma.
This was my nightmare fuel.
No,
Bill.
no.
Because I didn't know what that was until about 9 or 10. I'm like, what is
Oh, shit.
that? Is some nightmare fuel.
They just pretend like they're playing Star Wars and your grandpa's really Darth Vader.
I don't know, man.
I am your daddy.
It's about a half a dozen times I had to like sit there. That was a rough day for the popster.
It's a very nasty day.
Going to say,
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Popp for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.